Michael right here. Chris Carter, Southern Source. Just kind of regrouping after the Oregon State game. Obviously, this is a rivalry, so you should be able to be up for it. But what's your sense about the mood of the team, where you guys are at going in?
Yeah, I think it's always a big week when it comes to rivalry week, especially this rivalry in particular. Things get pretty heated, emotions get pretty high. So I think coming into this game, we're just ready to go 1-0 again. I think we need to get back to home, go 1-0, and just finish what we started. I think Brock came in and talked to us after practice, and he had some really great words to say. And he said 10 years from now we're going to remember this game more than any other game. And I firmly believe that, and we're just ready to show out, go 1-0 again.
Zach?
Michael in the back here, Zach Keenan, Doubles Digest. What's your overall performance review of your group's performance over the past couple games here?
I think as a defense, we really wanted to set out to stop the run. I think that's the biggest thing. Given last week, we didn't do that so well. But I think like I said, we need to come back home, stop the run. Overall, we've been good, not great, and I think there's there's areas that we can always improve. Even when we had great games, there's always places we can improve. I'm happy, but I think there's still a lot of work to be done.
Pass that down to Michelle. Did you have a follow, Zach?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm looking back on this season, it's been one that, especially for your group, you didn't expect. Jermaine and Trevez, how do you think over the entire season your group has responded to that adversity?
Yeah, I think we've responded pretty phenomenally. This is kind of like I've been preaching since day one. We always coach everybody, and I think that's when you have guys that get hurt, you can be confident that the younger guys will step up and do their job, and I think they've done a really good job. It always sucks to lose anybody, but when you have guys that can still step up and get the same work done, you can still have a lot of confidence when they're on the field.
Michelle Gardner, Arizona Republic. Like you played in a couple of these games so far, do you have a favorite play or a favorite memory from a Territorial Cup game that you've played into this point?
Oh, favorite play. Honestly, I don't know. It's all kind of a big jumble, honestly. One play that I distinctly remember, though, was it was last year when Connor Soley had me and Connor were working together on a pressure, and I ended up penetrating. The back bounced out, like spun out, and Connor just faced him up and he fumbled the ball. That's like one of the biggest things I remember. But at this point, everything's kind of a big jumble. So, one of the big things I always remember, I just see Chase running with the Territorial Cup, so that's always a great thing to see. But the comeback a couple years ago, that was awesome too. So, those are definitely two things that I remember pretty distinctly.
Luke Whitten with 12 News. We all know this isn't just any normal game, whether the players want to admit it or not. So how badly do you want to beat U of A, and how do you contain that emotion or excitement when you're on the field knowing this is more than just a normal game?
Yeah, it's always funny because being from out of state, I never really recognized this rivalry when I was back home until I got here, and I could tell by the tension in the air when everybody's warming up, that is like, oh crap, like this is serious, right? Like, leading up to the game, people kind of show the animosity that builds up, but just the tension in the air when everybody's warming up is serious, and you can cut it with a knife, like it is. So coming from out of state and kind of being thrown into the fire into this, you get a sense really quick of just, I guess, the rivalry between the two teams.
Who's next? Anyone? Back there, Zach.
And then Michael, off the topic of football, we go to Thanksgiving holiday this Thursday. Go around the table. What are you thankful for this year? Oh,
Honestly, every single person that has either stepped on the field or helped us, every coach, every player, all of you guys as well. I know. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys and your families. But I think there's a lot of work that gets done behind the scenes that a lot of people don't realize, and there's not a lot of people that are willing to take credit for. But everybody on the coaching staff has done a phenomenal job this year. you know, there's been some bumps in the road, but I think everybody's stayed pretty poised for the most part. So yeah.
Michael, close off the Devil's Digest. I just wanted to go back to what you were saying about being Mountain State and try and get integrated into the rivalry. There's a lot of fresh Mountain State that are from Mountain State, especially players that played last year in a COVID environment that wasn't necessarily the norm that they'll experience on Saturday. What is that like through the week? Like checking in, making sure like are they ready for this rivalry, and what's the coaching like on what to expect?
Yeah, it's definitely a serious game. I think everybody here can all agree that no matter what anybody's record is going into this year, like going into this game, it's a hard-hitting game. You can guarantee that both them and us are going to play our best game. And I think, you know, for the younger guys, they'll notice really quickly, whether it's through practice. You'll see some of the older guys, like for me, it was watching, you know, Nikhil, Manny, even Chase. I could just see how serious they took practice that week, and I think that's what the younger guys are going to start to see. And then once you get to game time, I mean, coming in on the buses and seeing the tailgates, like there's so many people here, it's ridiculous. You know, you might have you have people, you know, screaming at the bus, and then you got people cheering for you at the bus. So it's definitely a big deal. And I think the young guys are going to adapt pretty well and play well.
Michelle?
Mike, when you watch Arizona on tape, what strikes you about them? And obviously, they look like they've improved despite their record. So what can you take from watching film about Arizona?
Yeah, well, I just think, you know, the most important thing, kind of like we've all been preaching, is that we need to stop the run. And I think that's something, again, that we have to prove. We have to stop the run, and we just have to be ourselves and play ourselves. I think, you know, no matter what they could throw at us, we know that we can play sound defense, and we have to go do that out on Saturday.
Chris?
So, yeah, last year was a historic beatdown that you put on them. Is that something that you guys are talking about, the fact that they might want revenge, or even maybe what their coaches or players are saying this week? We saw Jed Fish comment yesterday, some stuff about that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the main goal is to not let that get into our heads. I think the best thing that we can do is, like I said, go out and be 1-0 this week. It doesn't matter about what's happened all season, what's happened last year, what's happened 5 years ago. It's really just about us, this team, and what we can accomplish on Saturday. And I really think the most important thing is if we can go out and play our game. I'm pretty confident, you know, that we'll go do a good job.
And to kind of piggyback off that, Michael, when you look at a team that obviously struggled like that, I mean, yes, you guys want to get off to a good start, but how important is it to kind of get your foot on the gas early with a team that struggled a lot to kind of get them behind the 8 ball?
Yeah, you know, and like we got to come out pretty hard, right? I mean, this is the thing. This is a heated rivalry. The momentum can shift at any time, right? I think that's one of the most important things to keep in mind. You know, yes, we want to get on them quick, but I think it's important to stay poised throughout the entirety of the game. There's 4 quarters. This is a lot of time. You know, there's a lot of football to be played in 60 minutes. I think it's important to stay calm, keep those emotions down, and just play our football.